Okay, so this is my first video in the series of videos that'll show how I am going to transform my 2010 Toyota Prius into a place to live. So this is my Prius. Back here is the main storage space, and actually the space that I'm going to need to begin this journey of transformation. So what I'm going to do is figure out how to take this space and expand it and create a place to sleep. So that's going to be the first thing. The most important thing that I need my Prius to do is to provide me with a safe and comfortable place to sleep at night. So that's the first thing we're going to focus on creating inside the Prius. So let me pause this video and set up my camera on a tripod and show you how we're going to begin to transform the space. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create the initial space, and we'll do that by taking out this cover and then folding down the back seat. I'm going to use this side for the sleeping area because it's a larger area than the other seat when it folds down. So this is going to be the area I've chosen for my sleeping area. Now what I'm going to do is figure out how to lengthen this, because right now it's not long enough. Let's start by first taking out the spare tire. So I'll put the spare tire up here. I'm going to use it here in a minute, and I'm going to take these headrests out because I just don't need them. Okay, now let me put this cover back in. So what we can see is that we have now a flat area that extends almost to the back of the passenger side front seat, but it's not long enough for a sleeping platform because I'm about 5 foot 10 inches tall, which means I need over 6 feet of length to create a bed area. And right now, up to the edge of that back seat that's laid down back where up to where that tire is, it's less than 6 feet. So I'm going to try to change a few things around to lengthen that. So let's take a look at how we can do that. Okay, so here's what I figured out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this seat out, because right now the way it is and it's designed, this is angling up, and so it's not going to be very comfortable to have a flat space in the back, but then when I get to my upper body to have an angle going up. And what's causing that angle upward is this seat under here, because you can see the seat comes up, so it allows people to kind of be sitting in a reclined sort of position. So I'm going to take this out. Now, I'm going to try to lean this up against here and make it so that this becomes the extension of my bed area. Now this gives me well over 6 feet, about 6'3", 6'4" inches, so nice sleeping area. The problem is there's nothing under there to support this, so it can fall easily. So what I'm going to do, again trying to utilize things that I already have, is I'm going to take this spare tire. Actually, I'm going to first take this little rug and lay it here to protect some of the stuff underneath and the spare tire, because it's got metal on it. And I'm going to put this in here, see if that works. So now if we lay this down, it creates a nice flat sleeping system for us, a nice flat platform where we can put our bedding. So here's a view now of the area from the back of the car, we can see we've got a really nice flat platform for our bedding. Now there is one issue, and that's where the seat lays down, there's this flap, and this flap helps to overlap so that things can be stored back here. But the problem is it's got a lip and a ridge, and I'm afraid that laying on that I'll be able to feel that ridge poking up. So what I'm going to do is modify this so this sits flush. So here's that ridge that I mentioned, and like I said, it creates a bump here. But if you look underneath, the reason it's there is to create a flat platform over this void, which is created when the seat lays down. Now I can feel through here, and there's where the seat begins, and this is all the empty place underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right along where it meets up with the hard part underneath here, and by doing that, this should be able to lay flush. So let's try that. So I'm going to pop this panel out so I can see what's going on under here. Then what I'm going to do is just find this spot where the edge of the bottom of that seat is, and I'm going to mark it, double check it, do the same over here. Actually, what's going to be easier to do, because I can't really feel under here and see from this side, so I'm just going to measure this. Now I'm going to use a box cutter for this, and if you do the same kind of modification on your car, you're going to want to make sure you use a really sharp blade. So I got brand new blades that I'm going to install. Now, since this straight edge isn't long enough to reach all the way across, I'm going to make some more marks across here. Now I'm going to begin by just making some initial cuts. Okay, so I got my first cut. It got me closer, but I still need to go a little ways back. So I'm going to figure out where I'm at here. Then I'm going to measure how much further I need to go. That one's pretty close, but this thing doesn't evenly follow this all the way across. So I'll try taking another 1/4 of an inch off. Just want to do a little bit at a time to make sure you don't take too much off, because it's easy to cut more off, but you can't add once what material you've already cut off. Okay, we can see that's getting pretty close. So we're gonna do a little bit more. Now, kind of got a messy line here. So what I'm gonna do, the smart thing to do is to measure from this straight line here, then really take my time on this last cut and try to create a nice cut edge. I wasn't too concerned until now, because I'm just chopping off bulk right now, trying to get down to where I'm close to the size I need to be. But now I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to detail. So I'm gonna measure here. This seems close to about the right length. That's a cleaner cut. And you can see that when pressure is put on this, it's going to lay pretty much flush. So once I put my bedding down, we're going to have a much better flush area. It covers up this, which would be uncomfortable, takes off that excess that was sticking up, which would be uncomfortable, and creates a nice smooth transition there that once I get all my bedding down is going to be really hard to feel. So let's put the bedding in. So I've got several layers of bedding that I'm going to try using because I really want to create a comfortable space to sleep. You know, it's already going to be a sacrifice giving up my apartment and living in a car. I figure the best thing I can do is to try to at least make the sleeping space, the bed, as comfortable as possible. So I'm going to start with this sleeping bag that I have. It's a camping sleeping bag. It's a Coleman, and I'll put the link to everything that I use in the comments below. I'm going to start with this. This is a heavy sleeping bag, well padded, because it's for cold weather use. I'm not anticipating cold weather in Silicon Valley, so I'm going to use this just for padding to sleep on. Okay, so that creates a pretty good initial padding, but it's really not that soft. And so what I'm going to do is, I had a pillow top cover that I bought for my queen size bed in my apartment that's set on top of my mattress and underneath my sheet, and I took it and I cut it to the size I'd need for this sleeping area. So I'm going to add this to it. And then the other thing that I can do is add one more layer to this to just give it even more comfort, and that's using a camping mattress. This is what is called a self-inflating mattress, because as I take it out and spread it out, it'll suck the air into the mattress and inflate it. It's the first time I've unpacked this, so it was a little inflated and tough to get out of the bag, but it'll get easier next time. So again, this is another layer, and when I lay this out, I can even inflate it more if it's not self-inflating to the level I want. Actually, what will probably make the most sense is to put this underneath, the other two. Now, I may decide I don't need all three of these layers of padding, but the nice thing is between this pillow top and the sleeping bag, I get some really nice, comfortable padding. And I probably will go ahead and continue to use this mattress under here because it's a little stiffer. And so when I put my twin sheets on, I'll be able to fold them under and kind of put them underneath that more rigid board to hold them in place. Now, one of the things that I have here that's an issue is this is very slick. So I'm afraid as I'm moving around at night that this is going to slide around underneath that twin sheet and just become a mess. So I'm going to do one other thing. So I bought this. This is just one of those mattress pads, or I'm sorry, rug pads that go underneath rugs on hardwood floors to keep them from sliding around. And so I'm going to take this and put it on top of the sleeping bag to create a non-slip surface for the pillow top to go over. Okay, now that's not going anywhere. It's got that non-slip mat underneath, and even if I shift around, this will shift a little, but it's not sliding at all. So that'll be perfect to keep that in place. And so I've also got my fitted twin sheet so that I'm not laying directly on this and getting it dirty over time. And so there you go. I have a nice twin-sized sleeping area. And all that's left is to add the pillows. So this will work great for nightly sleeping arrangement with the back seat down, the bottom bench seat taken out and propped up, and the spare tire utilized to hold the whole back seat part flat to create a flat space.